Hello there and welcome to Two Grumpy Retro Gamers. This week we find ourselves frantically trapped in the Nakatomi Corporation building as John McClane. Last week we looked at Resident Evil on Nintendo GameCube. This week we're taking a visit to the SEGA Saturn and transporting ourselves to 1997. I'm Forbes Donald for this episode.
And I'm Mike Langbeer for this episode also. Today we're going back to one of my favourite boyhood consoles, the SEGA Saturn. Released in 1995, I want to say. I completely forgot now.
I believe 1995 seems about right.
Yeah. 94, 95.
Yeah.
Biggest competitors was, of course, the Sony PlayStation. They lost quite a lot of money in the USA, but made big bucks in Japan. Nevertheless, the N64 came out, lost dramatic in profits. So sadly went in 1998. Big loss was. Say it's one of our favourite consoles, isn't it?
Rest in peace, Saturn.
Yeah. This, of course, is the Japanese version that I'm playing today. Lovely white cow pattern we got here.
It's funny how you say about the competition with the PlayStation and the Nintendo 64. Natural other competitors being the Atari Jaguar, the Panasonic 3DO, Philips CDI, and also the Amiga CD32 deserves a mention because that is a banging console. But the PlayStation and Nintendo 64 probably stand up the legacy of time for that generation of consoles because they ran rings around the opposition. I'm available all night. Right, so Die Hard Arcade.
Die Hard Arcade.
1996, 1997 arcade game.
It's been a while since we played this.
It has, very much so. I'm very much looking into getting into the vest, the grubby vest of John McClane, and crawling around as vents. Not so much happens in this game, but you know. So maybe a little bit of history about the game first. Was originally released on the SEGA Titan arcade board.
That's right,
STV, which shares massive similarities with the SEGA Saturn hardware, which was Sega's business model back then. And developed by the Sega Technical Institute and AM1 of Sega. So, not like AM2, because they're famous for things like Shenmue, which didn't make it to Saturn. I don't know somebody. But, yeah. So, what have we got here? What configuration have we got here?
Well, it's all about punching and kicking and picking up weapons and shooting people.
It seems awfully violent, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But it was widely known as one of the best games on the Saturn because of its combat. There's lots of choices of weapons and melee weapons on this.
Right.
Pick pretty much anything when it gets knocked down.
Okay. So what sort of weaponry is in the game?
Well, we obviously got the pistol. I've got a machine gun. I think even the rocket launcher, I do believe, on this as well.
I believe there is a rocket launcher in this game, yeah.
Unlike the film.
No. That's one thing, though. It doesn't really follow closely with the basis of the film.
It doesn't. I mean, these don't look like Germans to me.
No, if anything, they look very much like mole rats.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
Which, concurrently with Fashion of 1997. Yeah, it doesn't seem to follow very closely with the movie at all, does it?
I don't think it's meant to, really, is it?
I don't really remember John McClane in a blue jacket.
Knocking people out just like that.
Yeah. Well, some sort of urgency. One thing you do notice about this game is he's not actually seeking his wife. He's saving the president's daughter.
The president's daughter, that's right, yeah.
Who's found her way, presumably, into Nakatomi.
Maybe it's in between the first and second one. Maybe, at the end of the film he comes out, you got to go back in, the president's daughter's in there. Oh, for God's sake, it's just in there.
Yeah. There's lots of glass around now. I've blown a lot of the windows out. I've pretty much blown a floor out. You've got cops down here that are concerned they're covered in glass. And our pal's rather trigger happy. None of that is in this game at all. But the funny thing about the Die Hard franchise with video games is that there were 2 Die Hard games in the space of 12 months. You had Die Hard Arcade for the Saturn, and you had Die Hard Trilogy, which came out on Saturn and PS1.
Amazing.
Yeah, Die Hard Trilogy is an absolutely fantastic game.
Something we have to cover.
Yeah, we will.
Definitely, yeah.
We will. It's just so broad, though. There are 3 different sections of the game. I feel that it deserves 3 episodes by itself. But Die Hard Arcade is a very contained experience, just going solely on the 1988 film, which actually sees John McClane on Christmas Eve.
I think when we do it, it's got to be Die Hard 2. I've got to say that.
The light gun shooter.
Yeah.
I think he's on point. Definitely.
Not the third one. It's driving around.
No. We don't really do... On Two Gripping Retro Games, we don't really do a lot of driving.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we don't. We're not really driving game fanatics. We will cover them, just for your viewing pleasure. But for ourselves, just know it's going to be torture. Okay?
Unless it's Crazy Taxi.
Got a point, I love Crazy Taxi, God I do. Sega fanboy in the house. As you could probably just see there, while we were nattering away there, that didn't look anything like Hans Gruber to me. The likeness of Alan Rickman's certainly not there.
No.
So,
maybe it is now. I won't talk about that.
Ooh.
Let's come the game, shall we?
Let's grab the controller, shall we? Right, okay. Mike, how... You're not too well versed nowadays to the Saturn controller, are you?
It's been a long time, I must admit. But it comes back to me when I used to play Saturn a lot. I mean, it was just... It was definitely an upgrade to the Mega Drive version.
But that's pretty much all they wanted, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They just wanted an upgrade to the Mega Drive. And in my views, it didn't really sort of work out because, you know, you had the PlayStation, which was the main competitor, which was far more powerful. It was a 3D based machine, and this was just supposed to be the next thing on from the Mega Drive. So that was a lot of its problem there, I think. But, you know, it's a fantastic piece of hardware in its own right. Right, okay, so we start off here with a little cutscene on the roof, bit of clip in there, we just went straight through the door. As you see, you get straight into the action with this game.
I think you got to go in and come out of it, isn't it?
It doesn't mess about. It doesn't mess about. In the actual movie, it takes you a little while to encounter your first terrorist.
Oh, that's that bit done already.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing about Dial Arcade, it's a very snappy experience, isn't it?
Yeah, with this one, it's very just button bashing, really. Get close enough, you'll be able to do some moves. And if you get a chance, there should be a weapon around somewhere. I think one just dropped, actually.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, I just dropped it again.
Yeah, that's it, he's taking it from me. We've actually put the cheats on this game because it is so goddamn hard. There's one thing to note, this is a bloody hard game.
What are the cheats on for?
Wow. What would happen as you do lose health in this game is actually John starts to shed his clothing somewhat, so he does end up in his trademark vest. But yeah, it's...
There you go, so I picked up the pistol. Oh, he's just locked it, so obviously he's run out of bullets. Take a broom, ideal.
The attention to detail is actually quite good, I think.
Yeah.
The Saturn wasn't renowned for being a 3D based console, but this is okay. For 1997 standards, this is actually okay.
It's very colourful, this.
Yeah. It's going to ask you to kick, I think. B button. Yes! There he goes. Nice. Down he goes, though.
I feel I've had quite a bit of play. Do you want to?
To me, that's like a Saturday night out in Plymouth. Okay.
Do you have to do another kick here?
Forever running. No,
right.
They're casual. Just coming out of the elevator, they're having a good little chat. So, let's see what I can do here.
So you got that?
That would be
that's
rocket
launcher.
Rocket launcher, yeah.
Don't want to get caught with that.
No. Not that it's really going to make a massive amount of difference, but I would like it to even up the odds a little bit. You're going to have to drop that there, son. There we go.
Nice.
Wow. As you see, there's a lot of carnage to the game. Destructible elements as well, which hold hidden weapons. You can actually use the weapons for primary and secondary function. So, if I pick up that rocket launcher and I run out of ammo, I can actually chuck it.
Yeah.
She wasn't too nice about that. I think it's a she, I'm not sure. No, it's a dude, sorry.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is anyone from the Sega Technical Institute, their art department, watching this? Really sorry. I did think it was a bird, but we'll blame the Saturn hardware for that rather than your artistic skills for androgyny. Okay, right,
I'm guessing this is a boss.
I'm sure he heard something going on from the floor below and decided he's going to get involved in whatever it is I'm doing. They're not dressed very well, are they? Not dressed like the ones... Oh, he's going to run. Yeah, there we go.
No, he's some kind of biker.
Yeah, I don't really understand the attire for a lot of the characters in this game. So basically now, I think what it's going to do is it's going to take us to the basement part of the game, which is incredibly hard. You have firemen and everything down here in a minute, axes, and they've got a fire engine. You've got to see it to believe it. They've got a fire engine with the water coming along and hitting you. It's not Hans Gruber. It's not Hans. He's looking for the president's daughter. She's right in his office. Why has he got men looking round the place for her? Getting killed by me, inevitably. Okay. So we were on the top floor of Nakatomi. How we got there, I do not know.
We came off the helicopter.
Oh, of course, yeah. We just shot that down, didn't we?
Yeah. It's weird, it goes all the way to the bottom.
Yeah.
I think it's at the top, it just... Next one down.
Got a trademark vest on now. So, alright. So... You can... I think you could combine weaponry on this. If I had a lighter at this moment in time, I could actually set fire to them.
Oh, alright.
Let's get Grace Jones here. He actually looks more like one of the bad guys in Die Hard 2, this guy here, in my opinion. The one that goes on about Cochrane, man, didn't make it. Right, okay, so we've got a shooter. It's quite essential, really, because I would have been dead, I think. Right, okay. Notice how the detail is actually quite good in the background there. This isn't too bad at all. What's it want me to do? Okay. There you go, fire engine. Where's that come from? Where has that come from? Who even needs that? Why have we got evil firemen? Oh, yeah. Okay, well, in which case... I arrested him.
Oh, right.
That's
handcuffs on.
Yeah, I don't...
For that, I don't need that.
Toxic drums. The lot. There we go, you can have that, boys. There's a fire for you. There's a fire for you movie kid. Right, I've got a pickaxe, which is probably one of the quicker weapons in the game. Don't know quite how they're blocking. I haven't quite worked out how to do that. Oh, I missed the machine gun.
Nice.
Nice. Wheel hanging off a Carla. Volvo. Built to last, usually. Okay, you've got a lot of quick time events which go on in the game.
It's not kicking.
That's the control of that to you.
Oh.
Yeah, you've got a lot of quick time events which is commonly seen also in Shenmue. It seems to be a very Sega thing, QTs.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna...
The soundtrack's quite dramatic to this game. If I was going to score the soundtrack, I would certainly give the soundtrack 7 out of 10. It's very good.
I don't know what gun this is, but I quite like it.
It's some sort of railgun, isn't it? Sort of thing you'd see in the 1996 film Eraser.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I do, I love that film.
Good film. Toilet rolls, flying out. They're dangerous, hit people. Guy wearing his pyjamas.
Must live that.
Yeah, definitely. I think he was just having a wash. He was just disturbed and he was like, "Who's that? Who's that?"
Got another guy in the pyjamas, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
He's naked.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there. Ask no questions, he analysed this sort of party. Wow. I'm not sure about the guy in his pants. That never made sense to me, even when I was a kid. I just don't know.
Neither do I, mate. Neither do I. Either way, I think it's a very good game.
Well, this game really was widely seen as one of the best
Yeah.
games offered for the Sega Saturn.
Yeah, I think top 10, I believe, in this one, yeah.
I believe it is commonly in the top 10 games of all time for the Saturn. That's quite an extensive list when you consider things like Knights and Streams, Virtua Fighter, Panzer Dragoon, Burning Rangers, for example, Deep Fear. Yeah, there are some absolutely stonking exclusive content on the Saturn. Who's that?
That could have been the person's daughter.
That's a woman! He just kicked a woman
Just
in the face.
right in the face.
Who's he? I'm not even too sure what's going on here.
Oh, robots now.
Closely following the plot from the film, we've now introduced robots.
Yeah. Lost me then.
Right, okay. So basically, this game is quite unique in its position that it is, or was, exclusive to the Saturn hardware for a very, very long time. I believe that a remixed version of the game came out in 2012.
That's right.
And other formats that it did follow on, there was a PS2 version, I think part of the Sega Ages.
2006.
Yeah, Sega Ages pack.
Yeah.
For Japan, didn't come out anywhere else. And I think it came out on the PlayStation Network maybe in 2012 as well, as part of the presumably the Sega Ages pack, rather than the Saturn version, which would have lost the Die Hard license by then. But now the Japanese version is not even called Die Hard, is it?
It's not.
No.
No.
It's what's he called?
Dynamite. Ah,
Dynamite Deka.
Dynamite Deka. That's the one.
Dynamite Deka. And the funny thing about that is there are some contradictions in the marketing really for this title. That the PAL version is called Die Hard Arcade naturally, but the likeness on the front cover is not really that of Bruce Willis at all. However, on the Japanese version of the game, which is called Dynamite Deka, Dynamite Cop, whatever, that is very much Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
That's definitely Bruce Willis on the front cover of that.
It definitely doesn't look like the on the USA version anyway.
No.
No.
No, absolutely not. No, it's it's a more crudely drawn cover, I think, for the rest of the world. The Japanese cover art is absolutely fantastic, and I personally always had problems finding a PAL copy when I was young.
Right.
Yeah, when I was younger, when I first had a Saturn first time round, I seem to remember that Die Hard Arcade was probably one of the few Saturn games that always eluded me because it was always so expensive in my local retro shops. Whereas most Saturn games would be £5, £7, £10. Die Hard Arcade was always 20 quid.
Yeah.
That was just a little above my reach. So I could never really afford the game. And we had to live on a demo, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
one level demo. Which
still
Sega
entertaining.
Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came on the official Sega Saturn magazine in 1997. Good days. Simple days.
Yeah.
Demo discs.
Yeah, well, you're not looking at different prices nowadays.
No.
You're still looking at about the same for that.
What? How much does it go for now?
This version's about 15-20 quid.
Okay, so £15-20 what for the Japanese version?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. What? Humour me. Say if a working man, was looking for a PAL copy of Die Hard Arcade now.
Have you got the console?
Well, that would play it.
So you got the console. You're looking for the game. Do you really want them?
No, but yeah, I do, kind of, yeah. Go on,
Alright. You're looking at about £50.
50 GBP.
Yeah.
That is absolutely crazy.
That's
Crikey.
it. I mean, that's the thing about Saturn games nowadays, they're just getting more and more rare, so prices are just shooting up.
That is absolutely crazy.
It's only going to go up as well. So if you really want to play it, buy it as soon as you can, really.
In the top 10 of Saturn games, USA copy. That's got to be cheaper, isn't it?
Maybe a little bit.
£30.
Oh God, what's it looking at? £30, £40, something like that?
Really?
Yeah.
That's alright. I mean, I've personally, the Saturn has a unique feature, which sadly I think works against it in the PAL and NTSC USA territories, is the boxes. The boxes are the worst.
These ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, now this is alright. This is a CD case. You can easily replace that if that breaks. That falls off the shelf. Fair enough. I'll get another, Adele's latest rap album, and I'll just evict that out of the box. It's never going to be worth the same as that.
No.
And so you could just sort the casing around. However, the PAL cases, what were they thinking with those? First of all, they start out this really horrible cardstock / plastic hybrid nightmare, which would come away and you'd be left with two plastic inner parts that have somehow separate
you always
themselves.
saw the middle bit just kind of going grey,
and
then white, and then eventually just pulled apart.
It would just fall apart,
like
and you'd have this glob of like dried glue on either side of the paper, so you couldn't stick it back together again. God forbid. No. So sellotape would have to hold it back in. Absolute nightmare. But the USA versions were even worse because they came in these horrible, like, clear boxes that were thick and deep that opened out, and they had this piece of foam in the middle that would hold disc. If you didn't have that piece of foam and you went to move that game, the disc would fall straight out of the casing and it would rattle around in the box, and you just would scratch the disc and just burst a blood vessel thinking about it. It drives me mental. What were they thinking? As a collector of video games, why on earth would you ever go for PAL copies of anything that's rare on Saturn?
See, me, when I heard it rattle around, I was just like, yeah, I'll put it down.
That's fair enough. You know, you can do that, but I think the later Saturn boxes were okay. They weren't great. They came in like they had a sleeve over the top in a plastic box, but they were such a nightmare to open the things. I remember working back in video game retail where if you had Christmas temps or work experience like staff coming in and like someone would trade in Saturn games, they'd get to those boxes after the cardboard one's disintegrated, and then they'd go to try and open this box and it just wouldn't open, and eventually they'd get their thumb in it and it would open and the disc would go flying everywhere, and the owner would be like, oh my god, and I'd be like, oh my god, that's Panzer Dragoon Saga you've just launched on the floor. But I'll buy that, thank you. Cheers, how much you want for that? So the boxes were a nightmare. So Japanese versions, full collectors, would be the way to go because the boxes are far easier for library purposes as well to store. They're not half as repugnant as the PAL. I feel, God,
you're right.
I feel I've aired out grievances that have been there for 15, 20 years about Saturn stuff. Sega's boxes.
You okay now, yeah? Come on.
I might need to seek a bit of counselling after this. Saturn version of the game, moving on, has a nice feature that it features Deep Scan, which is a 1979 Sega title, arcade game hidden away in the game.
Really? Never knew that.
Yeah, straight up.
Straight up?
Yeah, it does.
It should be better.
Yeah. If we ever end up completing this game. Who are we kidding? We got the cheats.
We got the cheats. We're
all
right.
Fine.
But it's always better in 2 player as well. This one we did it in 1 player.
Yes, 2-player game.
2-player game.
It is absolutely fun. Absolute carnage. It's not a long game. You probably have done about half an hour. My scoring, I think, based on longevity, I would score that as probably a 6 out of 10. Graphically, I think I would go for Saturn purposes. Definitely an 8 out of 10 because that is top draw for Saturn. And as I said, audio I believe is probably around about a 7.
All round gameplay?
All round gameplay, I'm going to give it an 8.
Yeah.
So my overall score for the game is 8. What about yourself?
Oh, I'm stuck between 8 and 9. Don't go as far as 10 because 10 out of 10 for the console. As far as the game, I was 8. Let's go for 8. 8 out of 10.
Now it's funny because I don't really have a lot of time for Saturn hardware.
Oh, I've always been a fan.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to music and you pretend like you're in this little cockpit.
Oh, the little spaceship.
Looking into space, yeah. I never pretended to fly my Saturn.
Didn't save the Dreamcast, did it? That's the reason why I don't like the Saturn. Okay, because sadly it ended the legacy that was Sega. Sega Enterprises, later corporation. But I felt the Saturn hardware was a lame duck, and this was really the best you were likely to get out of the Saturn. Unlike the Dreamcast, which had so much potential.
Oh, a lot of potential, yeah.
So much potential, untapped potential, brilliant machine. This one, not so much. But, I do still enjoy playing the Saturn, and this is one of the key games for me for Saturn. This, along with things like Sonic Jam, that racing one, and Burning Rangers, Toriko, some fantastic games that have come out for the Saturn, and this wholeheartedly deserves its place in the top 10 for Saturn games. It's fantastic. Such a fantastic game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't recommend this game enough. If you are a Saturn fan and owner, I'm an owner.
Yeah, especially if you want a quick beat 'em up, shoot 'em up. Definitely a game for you.
Yeah, and if you want to break from all those 2D shooters and beat 'em ups that are on the Saturn, because the Saturn is full of those.
Yeah.
There's loads of those in its library. We will cover quite a few 2D beat 'em ups.
Yeah, because there's one in particular that I remember. Always used to play it.
What's that?
The Virtual Fighter.
Virtua Fighter,
Yeah.
3D beat 'em up.
Never put that down.
No, we will look at covering Virtua Fighter probably in a future episode, once you've forgotten that we've covered the Saturn once already.
Right, so we know prices.
Okay.
As you work in a second-hand store,
Yeah.
can we find this game of yours?
No, I tell you what, working in once Plymouth, I haven't seen a copy of this game come in for probably 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a copy in, it's sold, it is a very rare game.
It is.
Nerds, I haven't seen a copy come through Nerds for a little while either. And I'm not even too sure that our friends in the tech outlet have it either.
No. So it's going to be a rare find. Probably the reason why it's priced so high. As far as Saturn goes, it's a great console. So if you're looking at other games like this, definitely get yourself a Saturn.
It might be also worth checking online with Console Passion as well to see whether those guys have got it, because they're pretty good and they've got stock coming in all the time. Brilliant guys to deal with as well, and they have lots of unusual Saturn titles. I wouldn't say this is like an amazingly rare title, but it is quite unusual to find out in the wild, so to speak. Try and support your local retailers rather than things like eBay lining my pockets. So right, okay, just on a footnote, you had Dynamite Cop 2, which came out for Dreamcast, Dynamite Deka 2.
Sequel.
Yeah, the sequel to it. Fantastic game, well worth seeking out.
Yep.
Graphically much better than this.
Lost the license to Die Hard, didn't they?
They did, yeah, so it was just Dynamite
just...
Cop and Dynamite Deka, as it would be. But yeah, I think that really covers everything that we can rinse out of John McClane and his adventures on the Saturn.
That's right. I mean, it is a simple game. You literally just beat people up, you kill people, and you move on.
Well, yes, that's pretty much life. That's what happens. So yeah, I mean that's basically our take, the two Grumpy Retro Gamers. You can catch previous episodes of what we've been working on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, last week Resident Evil.
Resident Evil, scary, very scary. And Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast. Dreamcast.
Too scary.
Sorry.
We shouldn't have played it.
No, you're probably right. We didn't actually seek counselling after that episode either, did we?
We didn't.
No. So, you can catch us on our next episode where we'll be looking at another piece of hardware. We're not 100% sure what we're going to be covering, but it will be a console we haven't covered. So we go in cycles of, repeating consoles eventually.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, like I said before, the games that we cover, we always choose which console we think is best to play it on.
Yeah.
So that's what definitely we'll be doing next week. So you have to find out then.
Yeah, I think it's worth doing a shout out to you guys, the people that watch and stick with the episodes. We're doing it for you guys, and we really enjoy any sort of feedback you can give us as well. We'll take it on board, and we're quite happy to continue doing this format. So thank you to you guys. Thank you to you, Mike.
Thank you to you, Forbes.
Thank you.
Any suggestions as well? Any games you want us to cover? We'd be glad to.
Absolutely.
We've got a range of games that we know about. We'll cover it.
But I think there's also one last thanks that we need to put out there.
Is it Mikey Hay?
To Mikey Hay. We enjoy Mikey Hay.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. Good friend of ours.
Yeah.
And hopefully somebody who we would like to feature in our episodes, do a crossover of him with his vlog and us with two Grumpy Retro Gamers. Mikey versus two Grumpy Retro Gamers, that'd be great. Also John Robson would like to feature doing role-playing games in the near future, so it might be three Grumpy Retro Gamers. One last shout out to the SEGA Saturn hardware. Didn't let us down one little bit.
No.
Originally we were going to do an episode on the PlayStation 1 today. That let us down.
Yeah.
But the Saturn, good old Saturn, did not let us down at all.
Never lets me down.
No.
Love it so much. I'm like, fantastic console, honestly. If you have never had one, definitely get one. Definitely.
One like this.
Yeah.
This is really cool. This is a Force London custom special, alright? So, you'll only find this in two Grumpy Retro Gamers towers. So that's me.
And ho ho ho, I've got Machine Gun on Mike Langerbier.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye. That was good.
Yeah. That was from the heart though. I know I mocked the Saturn, but I do appreciate the fact they didn't let us down.
It's so fast as well.